I'm happy to say that the truth about persecution of Christians in Ukraine is finally beginning to gain some traction. The short version is that Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, the government of Ukraine, honors freedom of religion. Persecution of Christians is taking place in the Russian-occupied portions of Ukraine, areas of Ukraine, in which only Russian Orthodoxy is permitted. I'm going to share two video clips with you. The first one is from a man named Gary Marks. He is an American Christian who is reporting back from having attended an interfaith prayer breakfast in Ukraine.
Hello, it's great to be with so many friends here in Ukraine. I just left the stage at the National Prayer Breakfast of Ukraine, where I had a chance to pray with all of these amazing Davids in this country as they stand against Goliath. I prayed Psalms 91, 1 and 2. I prayed for courage, and this is a people that is courageous in the face of adversaries the size of Goliath. We are making sure that we speak up for the persecuted church. We speak up for Christians that are facing Russian aggression, that are now trapped in the occupied territories, that are having their churches destroyed, their churches confiscated, where pastors are being arrested and persecuted. We are making sure that we speak up for them, but most of all, we are praying for peace and we are praying for justice. And ultimately, that's what it's going to take in these coming months: faithful prayer and standing alongside the Ukrainian people. That's what we're all about, and that's what today was about.
The second video is from an interview of House Speaker Mike Johnson after he gave a speech at the Hudson Institute. In this segment from the interview, Johnson goes into a little more detail about the nature and the degree and the brutality of the Russian persecution of Christians in Ukraine.
But I do then want to turn back on the subject of Russia and Ukraine, because you really also have come out in support of the Christians in Ukraine. Can you talk, because I think sometimes we're a little bit, we can be confused, maybe there's a lot of disinformation out there and it's just a confusing situation. What is the state of Christians in Ukraine and how Russia's authoritarianism and aggression against Ukraine is harming them?
They're targeted, specifically. I've met with multiple times with religious leaders, pastors who were there, some of my own denomination, Southern Baptists, have missionaries there, and a lot of these clergy are in fear for their own families, and some of them have been targeted. I mean, I've seen examples and photographs of families who were taken out by targeted rockets to their apartment building on, level 5 of an apartment building, because they are Christians. I mentioned earlier the importance of maintaining religious freedom is, if you can, and the communists always do this, they go after the Christians first. They target Christians. Why? Because they believe they owe an allegiance to a power higher than the government, than the state, right? And so you have to eliminate that, and then it's a demonic thing in my view, but they target people who have that belief and they want to stamp it out. And it's vicious and vile, and it shows exactly what Putin and his regime is all about. And I think it's an important thing to highlight. And I don't think it's something that ought to be underestimated.
The fight for Ukraine's freedom, like our revolution, involves the necessary hardware and the materiel of war, but the fight is ultimately spiritual. So if you're a praying person, I urge you to join me in praying for Ukraine.